who's commenting on Facebook. Sometimes it comes through on my feed as the person, and other times it just comes in as a Facebook user. And then I
Yeah.
feel bad afterwards when I read who said that. I'm like, oh man, I missed that person.
So do you want me to get on YouTube
No,
too? I don't
no,
have to get on it? Okay.
no. It's better that you don't, because I don't want you to get distracted by it, especially because there tends to be a lag,
Got it.
and you'll get distracted by that lag.
Right. I hope some kids come on today.
Good morning, Suli. I was trying to have my son come on with us today, but he is asleep and waking me up.
I understand. Yeah, I get you.
Trying to get him to come to the table when he is half asleep. I tried. I went in there a couple of times. Hola, Claudia. ¿Cómo estás, hermana?
What she said.
Huh?
I
Claudia
said,
is my sister-in-law, who's in Arizona, I want to say, right? Claudia, or Phoenix, Arizona? Anyway, I can't remember where y'all moved to. Suli says hi. Yeah. Suli, is Z on with you? Is Z watching this morning?
hey, Suli. Is Z there?
Claudia, you too. Why don't you speak Spanish to me, Claudia? Good morning, Stace. Suli hasn't answered yet. We'll wait for her answer. Háblame en español, Claudia, por favor. Necesito practicar, por favor. Let's see. Suli, where is Z? Where is Z? Stace, is T with you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to hang out here and let people. Suli said he's in Wakanda land at the moment. I was trying to go in there to get ATN up. I went in there. Let's see. I woke up, went in his room. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take a walk. And I woke him up a little abruptly. I didn't mean to actually do it a little abruptly, but I did. And I'm like, okay, he's not going to be able to go back to sleep. So I went and took my walk. I came back in. He's still asleep. So I decided maybe I would start to try to cook breakfast. And if I tried to cook breakfast, that would wake him up, because that boy likes to eat. But
Brother Stace is on this thing this morning. He's here this morning, right?
Stace is on.
We're gonna hold it down.
Nah, Stace, nah. You by yourself, Steve. Stace is there. Gracias, Claudia. New Mexico. Oh, I didn't realize you guys were in New Mexico. I don't know what cubrebocas is. Cubrebocas. I don't know what that is. You're gonna have to translate that word. Claudia says, "Good morning, everybody. Take care. Use cubrebocas," but I don't know what that is. And she's from New Mexico. Greetings from New Mexico. Good morning. Who is that Facebook user? Why? And then my Facebook feed is slow to fill. So anybody who's coming to me on Facebook, if I don't say your name, please put your name in there so I can say hi to you. You guys know I'm having it. It's not me. It's not me. It's you. I mean, not you. It's the system. Anyway, we're going to cubrebocas. Oh, mask. Okay, everyone use your mask. Gracias, hermana. Gracias. Cubrebocas. Cover your mouth. That's what that sounds like. Claudia, mamá, dile. No. Dile gracias. I mean, dile hola. Yes, that's what it is. You know, I'm struggling with my Spanish. Anyway, welcome everybody this morning. Welcome. We have Stace is on both platforms. Okay, I got you, Stace. Thank you very much. Welcome. We have Steve on this side of the table with us today. I'm very excited for this. Hopefully you guys had an opportunity to take a look at his website. I kind of transposed it in the description. It's not Edutainment 1906, it's 1906 Edutainment. You all know every time I talk about Steve's stuff, I mess it up. And it's not out of lack of love. I just mess it up. I mess up a lot of stuff. Y'all know I can't get it straight. I can't remember this stuff. But Steve is still older than me. We had that discussion before this. They don't know. Look, I don't even know for real. I'm just throwing it out there.
I know you're just talking mess. That's what I'm saying.
Awesome. Always. You got to talk mess. We're going to talk about that. Art of war. Make yourself seem strong even when you weak. That's the art of war. Anyway.
Let me ask you a question. Is it really, if everybody reads the book, where's the element of surprise in war?
No, it's not we don't want the element of surprise. We're trying to have our community win this battle. So I want everybody here to know how to strategize. Everybody's not going to read the book. If everybody read the book, any book, we would be in a different situation than we're in right now, right?
True.
So if everybody at this table learns the right strategy for life, then we are what, like 5 steps ahead of the game?
Well, if somebody can send me a guide on how to do a COVID-19 haircut, let me know, because I look like Stevie Wonder did. I'm not going to turn around because, boy, it looked like Stevie Wonder been driving.
You need a mirror. You don't know you're supposed to have the mirror in the front and the mirror in the back?
I know now. You're
supposed to be in the bathroom with the mirror, a hand mirror in the front, and your mirror, use the what is that thing? The medicine cabinet mirror. Use that mirror and your hand mirror, and you got to do like this, and you got to shave the back.
Well, I'll let it grow back because it looked like Rembrandt now.
Dude, I've been shaving the back of my head for a long time. This is my coronavirus cut. I think I'm gonna let it grow, guys. I think I am.
The purple looks good.
I like it. I'm feeling it. I'm all purpled out. All right. So Suli says, yes. Reading saves lives. Yeah. We need more folks. We need to just start giving out books at Christmas time instead of giving toys. I know some of us do this already, but no toys. We need to just give books to everybody. Just go to random people, random idiots, and give them a book. Only leaders seek to improve. Good morning, Facebook user. I know that's not your name, but that's how I see you on this feed. So tell me your name so I can speak to you, please. It's out of a lot of love that I'm saying that. Everyone getting seeds from Kyle. We just need to have my barber, Reggie, because he keeps his mask on, etc. Oh, good morning, Charmin. Good morning. Yeah, I got my clippers and I could cut my own dang hair. Look, I was doing coronavirus cuts before coronavirus. Anyway, let's get on topic because I'm very excited. It's so much information. It can be overwhelming when you come to the table to learn something for real, right? So we want to make sure that we give it its proper time. But Stace says his hair has gotten long, except that one damn spot. Man, shave it off. Shave it off. Don't be trying to swoop it over, okay? Just shave it off. And your hair doesn't even swoop, so just take it all off. Anyway, so we have Steve here with us today. And Steve, I just want you to introduce yourself, let everybody know what is your platform. I have messed up the name. I always mess up the name. Again, it's just because I don't take notes too many times. So, which is not good. I'm not proud of it, but that's just how life is.
Okay.
So straighten us out. Tell us about introduce yourself.
Okay.
Give us a little bit of information about you, and then tell us about what you started with 1906 Edutainment.
Okay. Well, you guys, I started off, I was born in D.C., not actually at George Washington, and then moved here when I was younger. So my childhood was like, playing in the street with the fellas and playing football until it gets dark or baseball until it gets dark. And then, but every Friday was library night. So I started just reading a lot. And then, went to high school in the Bay Area, St. Mary's, and then I went to the University of Washington, where I studied architecture, and then went from there and did my master's at Cal Berkeley and got my master's in architecture, and then worked as an architect. And then I saw that as doing that, it wasn't really my vibe. Everybody was into doing the built environment, but at the time, I was dating this woman in Seattle, and her uncle was Quincy Jones, and her dad was an entrepreneur. So the merging of those personalities and just seeing everybody being an entrepreneur, that's when the bug hit me. And so her father was really helpful in just getting me to look at things differently. And he says, if you don't own it, then you're just working for somebody else's dream. He said, don't be afraid of the fear. Don't be afraid of the path. And then, it's been a while since Gerald passed away, but I never forgot what he said. And so I said, okay, well, the family was saying, well, we want you to be an architect. And I had some cool gigs. It's just that at the end of the day, I didn't want to have a gold watch and say, this is what I did. And this, and yeah, you provide for the family and everything, but that's all you did.
Right.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to make an impact.
Right.
So I took the principles of architecture and applied it. And I said, I'm going to develop cerebral landscapes, meaning that if I can inspire you to think different, then to me, that's a successful building.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a building like, say, a Salesforce building that got thousands of people in it, but they're all there to work on the Salesforce dream. Where my perspective is, why don't I inspire you so that all those people could dream of doing their own thing? And now look how much better the world can be.
Right.
So with that being said, I said, how can I do that? And then, so 1906 Edutainment Studios was the name. And, you may ask why is it? Huh?
I think you were about to ask yourself the question I was going to ask you. Why 1906?
Yeah, okay. So I belong to a fraternity called Alpha Phi Alpha.
Okay.
And it was founded in 1906 at Cornell University.
Okay.
And the main focus of everybody that joins the fraternity is that you're supposed to do scholarship comes first, education comes first, and then you want to do kind deeds and improve mankind.
Okay.
And so Alpha's that. Huh?
And have this most laminate step routine.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just checking.
We're going to do that.
Just saying all that other stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's prerequisite. But but the thing is that, in the spirit of alpha men who come before me, it's like Thurgood Marshall was an alpha. Duke Ellington was an alpha. W.E.B. Du Bois was an alpha. Martin Luther King was an alpha. And so it's like if you do something and you say, "Ooh, I saved civil rights," the brothers are going to say that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So, no big head, just do the work.
Right.
And
right.
so that was the spirit behind why I named it 1906. And every time I saw a movie, I always thought the names of the studios with a number was real cool, like 40 Acres and a Mule. Because I didn't know what year to pull, and I didn't want to have it just be some random year.
Right.
So, because architecture tells you that form has to follow function. Everything has to have a reason. So that's why I chose 1906 to be the name of it. And then edutainment, meaning entertaining education. So
let me get to some of these comments. First of all, everybody is trying to help Stace with his balding spot. You can color it in, Stace. And if you do, take a picture, because we all want to see that. Especially like if you took a Sharpie and just colored it, because if you did a Sharpie, it would stay for a lot longer than if you. How else could you color your skin?
Yeah, but if that brother goes outside and it's hot, it's gonna start bleeding.
He might have to get a divorce. He will be like, "I love you unconditionally, but there is a condition. You can't have Sharpie on the head." That's
don't do that.
Sully says architecture sounds fun, though. It does to me too. It does to me too. Bernadette's mom, my stepmother, she's an architect. Bernadette. No, is it? I think your mom's an architect, but also her sister is an architect as well. My sister is an architect. My sister, not just her sister. You know what? That's wrong. Let's see. Leave a legacy. Except them damn Kappas. They all about the party. So are the Q dogs. The whoever they are. Permanent color Sharpie. That's right. Stace, we're gonna send you a care package. It's gonna have some Sharpies in it. Anyway, gray and black, so you can mix it up. Sheila's got. Wait, but Betty's not an architect, didn't she used to be? I thought she was. Anyway, Sheila's the architect. So my sister's an architect. That's always something that was very interesting to me. So it's and I think the kids in school they have to do what is a drawing that's like I don't even know the lingo. To scale. They have to do like the drawing of a street to scale, and it's really bringing architecture into introducing them to architecture. And I really like that. I think it takes a tremendous amount of skill that I don't have to do something like that, to be kind of math oriented, right?
Yeah.
And The
Yeah.
reason I'm going, Betty's a graphic artist. Okay, thank you. So the reason that I'm bringing in the math orientation to architecture is because I think from the science perspective, a math and science perspective, that does kind of tie into what your elements, tell me the name of it, Elementus.
Well, actually, let me just explain that whole thing for you.
Okay.
The company's broken up into 4 segments. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the website, but it's broken up into digital comics, classroom content, video gaming, and film works. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea started off with the Guardians of a Cure, and I was just really frustrated. I used to, when my girls were young, like in the kindergarten and first grade, it started off being like show and tell. So I have this really large butterfly collection, right? Don't ask how a brother got into butterfly.
Yeah, but let me see. I know you didn't want to show it, but I'm gonna call you out. Let them see.
It's just some of it. Okay. It's just some of it.
Show it to us, man.
I got about I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh, I can see the colors. For some reason, the colors are coming through right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, scoot it over some.
So
there we go.
Those kind of things.
Yes. Now, are those real butterflies?
Yeah, they're real.
Nice.
They're real. So you might have seen some of these. I don't know, being over there near New Zealand, but these are your birdwing butterflies. These are really rare, and some of the rarest types of butterflies are over there, in New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and so.
Is one of those the monarch butterfly?
In the other cases, I got about 40 cases of these.
Suli says, "Wait a minute, you killed those butterflies?"
Okay, now let me tell you how it happened. Here's what happened was, being sensitive to the ecosystem, there are countries where they have butterfly farmers, right? So you have your general population of butterflies, which is all the ones that you see, and the butterfly farmers make a living off of collectors like me who will pay for specimens that they raise for collectors. So of their stock, they'll save like 40%, maybe 40% for consumers, and then they release new species into the wild. So they actually increase the number of butterflies.
But for the ones that they are selling to collectors like you, they kill those.
Yeah.
And sell them to, okay, just checking.
I didn't kill them. I didn't do it.
You contributed to the killing of the butterflies. That's all we heard at this table. Let's move on.
Whatever. Hey, you guys got bats. Hey.
But we're not killing butterflies with them.
Yeah, you kill people. You guys are people.
The innocent butterflies.
Steve killed butterflies, but I kill people.
So Suli says, we're messing with you. You know that's what we do.
I love you guys.
Suli says that's not odd for a Black man. My dad collected butterflies when he was in college, and the reason why I asked you to show those anyway. I grew up with my mother being fascinated with butterflies, and a lot of her poetry when I was younger used to have something to do with a butterfly. So that's why.
It was just something about it that just fascinated me, and so. Starting from the kindergarten, first grade, I was reading about trains, dinosaurs, and butterflies. And so, like in the 7th grade, my mother put me in this class at Holy Names College where you studied entomology. So that's when I learned how to preserve them. And then I remember they took us on a trip over to the Academy of Science. And then that's when I just saw them like in collection cases like this. And I said, I want a collection like that. So I was just on a mission just to make.
So now that we've established that you are the killer of butterflies, how does that lead into the platform that you have now?
Okay, so like I said, when my girls were in the second or kindergarten, they said, "Daddy, can you come show your butterflies?" And so I did. And then I wasn't going to water it down for kids and say, "Here's a blue butterfly, here's a green butterfly." I literally, just like I learned the scientific names in the first grade, they can learn the scientific names in the first grade. So I knew that the concept of teaching kids complex terms would be received well, right? So then when I started in 1906, I said, okay, how can I teach? Because, the U.S. ranked like 38th in the world in STEM or STEAM, right? I mean, you got to
what does STEM stand for, just for those at the table who don't know. But first of all, I'm stopping you because you're being serious. So I got to get this laugh out because, Suli be clowning at the table. Suli said, hashtag butterflies lives matter. um, and then on a serious note, Elaine asked, so we're going to get back to the STEM, but I want to finish up the butterfly thing because I think a lot of us are really intrigued. As much as we love you and giving you a hard time, I think your case is beautiful, and the butterflies in there are beautiful. And Elaine says, but Suli says she prefers them living. Elaine says, tell how warrior-like butterflies are. Do you know anything about that?
Warrior, what was that again?
Warrior-like butterflies are. Maybe you don't know what she's talking about.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay, so Elaine, you're going to have to put a comment in there to explain it yourself because he doesn't know what you're talking about. He just likes to kill them. That's it.
So anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
I knew that kids would grasp the information.
Right. So, okay, sorry, you were gonna explain STEM. What STEM stands for before you go.
Science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Okay. Oh, STEAM. That's why you say STEAM.
Yeah.
I thought you were just country. Really, I did. I was like, why is he saying STEAM? I've never heard of it as STEAM. I've only heard of STEM.
Yeah, but they realized, okay, let me just get to that part now.
Okay.
The reason why I incorporate STEAM is because art is a big part of how I deliver information.
Yes.
And so here's the thing, is that basically in the classroom, overall, it's from the analytical side of the brain. It's like, here are the facts, learn them, go home. And and I'm going to test you tomorrow. But and a lot of times, like here in America, they'll say that kids of color have difficult times learning in general, right? Everybody's an exception to the rule. And so, but that's not the case. What I found is that if like in art, from architecture and, the butterflies and the whole bit, if I'm stimulated by color, then they can be too. And so how can I deliver, complex information through visuals?
Right.
And so I did test studies, pilot programs about 3 years ago at this immersive learning center. And I had a range of kids. I had about 70 kids overall, and I had them in groups of 16. And the thing that really hit me is I had this one group that came in, and they had armed security. I said, what the heck? What did they do? And so they were just deemed as difficult learners.
Okay.
So they were a collection of all the kids from these schools that had just had like rap sheets from causing trouble at school. So they came in with a guard. I've never seen that before. So they sat down, and I started talking to them about the characters. I introduced the guardians of a cure to them.
Okay.
And then there was one character named Elementus who has the power of the periodic table, right?
That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So by introducing all the characters, then there was a foundation of interest there. Because all the characters come from very, just horrific life, historic events, right? Okay. And Elementus survived the Armenian genocide. Okay. And so when he was left for dead in the Mesopotamian desert, they raised him up from the sand. So that's how he got the power of the elements, right? So that good backstory there caused, raised interest. But I'll tell you, within 30 minutes into our hour-long talk, those guys understood how to recognize an element as a gas, liquid, metal, or non-metal. They were able to tell that they were able to understand how you determine the atomic number and how many electrons per shell. And then you know what happened? The security guard said, Steve, if I'd have had this, I wouldn't be a security guard.
Wow.
Now the thing is this. Now, normally you don't learn the periodic table until like 10th, 11th grade. And
I was going to say high school.
Yeah. Some kids now are starting to get it like in 7th, 8th grade. But still, on average, it's like high school, right?
Right.
Kids as young as 6 years old were starting to interpret this. Now, Noah, he was a special kind of brother. He really was. But on the average, total comprehension, 2nd grade and up. Right?
Who's Noah?
Noah was this little kid that was part of the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suli says, our kids' minds are amazing. The words they use and their thought processes are much more complex than we think. Z loves your website and understood faster than I. Yeah. Well, okay. Because I looked at it and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
So then explain to me how from introducing the Guardians of a Cure.
Yeah.
Okay, the Guardians of a Cure. How that led to them understanding how to read the periodic table or know the elements. What is it about their character?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, just a little bit side note to that. After I did this talk, I was invited by St. Mary's College out in Moraga to come give a lecture. And I was lecturing to some fourth-year organic chemistry students.
Okay.
Right? And I shared the concept with them, and they said, wow, we could have used this for organic chemistry. I mean, and they were enthusiastic about it. So I went home, and then like for 3 weeks straight, 16-hour days, I wrote the powers of Elementus and illustrated it, right? And broke it down so that if I make it visual, so Elementus looks a certain way when he's, like if he's a liquid, looks a certain way as a metal, a non-metal, or solid, or gas, right? Right. But right away, the minute that kids see the image on the page, they know whether lithium is a metal or a gas or whatever, right?
Elementus has all of the elements. Represents all of the elements.
You can turn into all 118 elements.
So they have to. How do they recognize between one element and the next?
Well, like
looking at them.
Right, like if you look at a normal periodic table, you know how that thing looks, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is like it's just Elementus. So if it's hydrogen, he's got all these vapors coming off of him. So right away, hydrogen is a gas.
Yeah, but how do you know it's hydrogen?
Oh, because it says it on the page.
Oh, okay. Look, well, hold on. Because honestly, in my mind, I'm watching this on TV right now. So I'm like, wait, but how would I know?
Yeah, well.
So in my mind, okay. I'm processing it as an animated motion picture, and I'm trying to see how would I look at Elementus and know right now while he's talking to Flash, he's hydrogen.
Right. Well, see, the thing is, this is the classroom application.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
And so that that's why the company's broken up into those different categories.
Okay.
But you're introduced to Elementus in the comic book.
Okay. So it's always going to be in written form, so you'll be able to see that he's hydrogen right now, and then you can visualize all the rest. Okay, I got it. See, look, man, I already got you. I already have Elementus and Flash fighting each other.
Well, actually, Elementus and Flash do fight. I mean, not actually fight, but in the comic book they do it. But let me tell you the story.
Wait. Let me get to this comment, and then I want to get to your story. Sully says that Z noticed the correlation of the names you gave to the characters to the elements. And then Anthony asked for the web address. The web address is 1906-1906 Edutainment, EDUTAINMENT.com or .org. And the link is on my Tea Time with Kai page, Tea Time with Kai Talks page. The link is in there so you can take a look.
Okay. And on the right page, you see this blue light.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead. What were you going to say? The funny story?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is that, like how in regular comic books you have Superman comes from Krypton, whatever, right?
Right.
Well, the idea behind the Guardians of a Cure is I saw also how many people in the world are suffering. Mm-hmm. And so as opposed to just coming up with random stories, I just happened to be at an event one time, and a friend of mine told me that she was dealing with breast cancer. And I said, hey, what do you think about like telling your story? She said, because Steve, women would be able to relate as I go through things. Those that actually are going through it will be able to relate.
Right.
And I said that those that don't know anything about it will learn from it. Right. So I started going around and interviewing people who suffered from different situations. Mm-hmm. And they're very emotional interviews because these people are sharing, their life experience. Mm-hmm. And that's why, you guys see me getting kind of into it about this COVID-19 is because I've interviewed some people and they are scared. They are scared.
Hey, hello.
Yeah. And so so the thing is that
we.
Right. So I interviewed people with breast cancer, leukemia. I mean, I got a library of interviews already. Right. And so so I take those stories, and then with those stories, I put the characters in them.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So then therefore, as the events actually happen, then you're learning about it, but it keeps your interest because the characters are cool and they're doing fighting and all that kind of stuff.
And Elementus is the main good guy.
No. It's like a group of six. It's a group of
Oh,
six.
because it's all the guardians, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. He's just one of the guardians. Actually, the leader is a woman, and her name is Hela. And her name.
It's so funny to me because when I looked at your site before, when you sent it to me, and then I was touching up on it again this morning when I look at it, I'm always drawn to Elementus. I'm not even drawn, just me. I'm always drawn to Elementus. I'm not drawn to the others. So that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. But so you said there's six. Who are the other six? The leader is female.
One is Hela, and she has the power of everything that Henrietta Lacks has done for medicine.
You know, all right, for Hela. So okay, I got it.
And she's dark, has the Bantu knots, and the reason why she looks that way is because the colorization thing, this whole thing that Black people do with this whole brown bag test thing. A lot of girls who were dark-skinned felt traumatized by the way they were treated as youth, right? So if I can make this woman dark-skinned, beautiful, like a walking piece of art, but her powers are off the charts, right? But her powers are what Henrietta Lacks did for medicine. Right. Now you have girls walking around, their self-esteem is improved. They embrace the way they look because they are beautiful. And so a lot of, everything that you see, there are hidden messages in it. They're hidden. I want you to dig deeper to find things out. So anyway, that's Hela, and she survives pre-slavery. Then there's Plasmaxis.
Hold on. Suli says she's gonna be Hela for Halloween. She's bad.
Hey, let me tell you about that. Speaking about Halloween, as I was designing the women characters, I didn't want to just like go off and find a white girl like everybody else does, right? Because sisters got that curve to them, and the Latin sisters got that curve to them, right? So I said,
there are some white girls with curves, okay?
Okay. So, okay.
Continue.
So I said, I'm gonna go find some women of color to do these two characters.
Right.
No matter how you say it, it never came out right. Because like I would see a woman who had the shape that, I really had these ideas in my head of how they look. And I saw it and I said, hey, I'm designing these superheroes. And then the minute I said that, I said, damn.
And you got the right booty shape. And can I grab you?
That's what I'm saying. Boy, that's what and they had a back for real. They said, boy, don't you say that. But you know what? And then I would practice. No matter how you say it, it comes out wrong.
You remember that story I told you about taking a picture of that chick walking around the lake, taking a picture of the woman walking around the lake, and I did it incognito. Okay, when you see somebody with the bodacious body that represents Hela, you got to break the camera out on the slide.
But Kai, that's why I gave you a bad time, because that's what I ended up doing.
There we go.
I started walking around doing drive-by photos, right. and then it got really bad because sometimes the booty just wasn't right. The buttocks just wasn't right.
Right.
And so, because Kai's mom's here, so all respect Kai's mom. And so I would.
You don't respect the rest of us at the table?
Oh, excuse me, ladies, almost greatest women of the world. I'm sorry for saying booty, but you said it first. Anyway, so here's the thing, you guys, is that I started getting on Facebook. People got all their pictures up, and I'll say, yeah, okay, that one, she got the legs. I was.
You start putting different people's body parts together.
Hey, I was drawing them so I had these pictures, and I would pull these different people together, and that's how these characters ended up looking like that, right?
I'm laughing at you, but honestly, I'm laughing at you, Steve. But that's what I worked in the entertainment industry as a model for years, and that is what they do. Everybody I've auditioned for commercials, I've gotten commercials, but they have an idea. When they have a casting, they have an idea in their mind of what they want this person to look like. And all it's going to take is the person who comes in and looks like what the idea in their head is. So that's what everybody does. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I figured so.
Suli says, of course, Steve got to go off on a tangent. Yeah, exactly. Stay says, Kai with the booty cam. Always. I got a fetish, man. I'll tell you what. Elaine says, did you look at your friends?
Yes.
Suli says, how you say it, Steve. You should have sent an survey email.
Hey, wait, I tried that. You know, they had this one technology, was like this camera, and all you got to do is walk around the person. I'm not telling them to get butt naked. I didn't do that. They could just wear like you know, like leotards, you know, like workout clothes, and it was because all I wanted was the shape.
All right, of course.
That didn't work. That didn't.
I mean, not like you couldn't have used your architecture skill and just draw the shape you wanted.
Yeah, but you know, I wanted to try to be authentic with it, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the cool thing.
Wait, hold on. You wanted to try to be authentic, but you were taking Sully's arms with with T's booty and Elaine's hair. That's not authentic, man. Notice how I didn't put myself in there.
No, we ain't cut the watermelon yet. Let me finish. All right. Okay, check this out. So that's what I did for Gila. Okay. But with Nanotech, she was like Afro-Latina, right?
Okay.
Now, I saw a woman on Facebook and boom, I mean, she was it. So I used her figure to draw Nanotech. Okay. And so I felt bad because I saw her at a party like about a month later. But we didn't even know each other. Mm-hmm. But you know, you got a moral compass. You just want to be right? Mm-hmm. And so I said, hey, look, I wasn't going to tell you, but I just feel it's right. And I told her I said, I'm developing this comic book. You know, usually when you get that side eye, she didn't give a side eye yet, right? So I kept going. And I told her the whole thing. And then there was a pause. And she said, she had a real strong accent. I love it. Said, for real? She said, yeah. So that was cool.
See, look, when it becomes, Steve, had I known you, had we been connected at the time, I would have told you, man, don't tell her a thing. Because as soon as you blow up, she's going to be like, that character is based off of my body. He told me we were at that party on Powell Street on such and such a day. I wrote it down in my diary and I need to get paid.
Hey, I got a story for you. I interviewed this one brother that had acute leukemia, right? Mm-hmm. His sister came to me and said, my brother has this. You should do a story on it. I said, okay. So I sat down with this brother and I did it. You know, we got 15 minutes into it. And he said, yo, man, like I saw the website. This is going to be kind of big. I want the rights to it. This was terminal. He was dying in like a week.
Right. What you going to do with the rights? That's wrong.
I just said, man.
He was trying to leave a legacy. That's what he was trying to do.
So, but I had to have my attorneys write up an agreement now that when anybody gives a story, we give them an amount. Right. In church, they'll tell their story to everybody, right? But now, I have to give money to. It's
right. Well, you have to protect your brand, and you have to protect not necessarily what it is right now because it's in its growing and developing stage, but what it is going to be. You have to protect that, so you have to always be forward thinking.
Right.
So okay. So tell us. So we have Gila.
Yeah, we have Gila. We have
Nanotech.
Nanotech was actually, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, like to 1923, mm-hmm. Mexicans were actually being lynched at a higher rate than blacks were in America.
Okay.
And so, she survived that, and then, left for dead. They reconstructed her, remember the $6 Million Man?
Right.
They reconstructed her with using nanoscience.
Okay.
And so that's how she came to be. And then there's Plasmaxis, who survived the Jewish concentration camp. Now, his secret identities, his name is Jerry Rabinowitz, because of the fact I wanted to pay homage to one of the people that got killed in the Jewish synagogue in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So he survived that. And then, his parents were murdered in front of him by the Nazis, and he got spattered with their blood, and that's how it stained him, and he became the sentinel of the bloodstream, Plasmaxis. Okay. And then there was Opto, whose mom was pregnant during the bombing of Hiroshima. She died of radiation poisoning. He survived.
So Opto is Japanese?
Yeah, Opto is Japanese. His name is Yoshi Hamada, right? Okay. And then they took him to Seattle, and then that's when Japanese were put into the internment camps. And so, from there, he channeled his rage and he became Opto. Mm-hmm. And then there's Elementus, who survived the Armenian genocide. And then Simaj Noskash, I'm not going to tell you who he is. I want you guys to read the backstory and use your own interpretation.
I'm sorry, you said, what's his name?
Simaj Noskash. Now, the story behind Simaj Noskash, without telling his story, is that he was inspired by a doctor in Oakland named James Jackson, So C. Maj Noskaj is James Jackson reversed. And Dr. Jackson was an amazing OBGYN. And and the work that he did in the community was just amazing. He even worked with the Black Panthers. He was just a good cat and very spiritual man. And so in order to pay tribute to him, and because of the fact a lot of doctors are getting on board with this, the family let me use his name as a character. And so I make sure that the elements of his personality and aura are captured in this character.
So, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's 6 of them.
Okay, so how do they work? How do all of these characters come together and tell a story that's academic in a comic way? Like, give me an example of that.
Yes, like remember I told you how I interviewed people and I got their stories?
Yes.
Right. Well, say the woman that had breast cancer, as she was going through her process and the different things happened in her body, then whatever happened in her body, I put the characters in her body. So the name of the villain for that particular subject matter is mastectomus, right? Causes breast cancer. So
right.
So they were in her body fighting mastectomus.
Okay,
when actually she was going through the chemo treatments.
Right.
And so whatever makes up chemo, the elements that make up chemo, were what the Guardians would actually use to fight mastectomy.
So these Guardians were inside of her body.
Right, fighting the breast cancer.
Okay, all right.
And that's what they do in every situation. Like if it's leukemia, if it's sickle cell anemia, whatever happened in true life happens in the story. It's just that we add the villain to it.
So what do the kids get from that story?
Okay, so here's what happens. As the kids read the stories, number one, they're going to, for those that either have a mother or aunt or somebody who's sick, they're going to be able to better understand it. And doctors are calling that translational research because so many doctors have a problem explaining to their clients what's going on because they're used to using these technical terms. And they feel that the Guardians of a Cure makes it easy for everyone to understand. So the education point comes from the fact that doctors are using it now in their clinics, and then in the general public, people will just learn about it. Right. And then those that are suffering, it'll be a coping mechanism. Now, here's the thing that's added to it. A lot of times, patients talked about the doctors that helped them, and I was able to talk with doctors. And then, so in each issue, depending on what it's about, I have a subject matter expert that comes on and actually talks about how to manage, say, like your asthma or whatever it is you're going through. I have different doctors that contribute in each issue. And that's why it's digital, because it's all taped.
So how many issues do you have so far?
Well, the Guardians of a Cure comic book series is going to launch in October. And it's going to start off with the Guardians fighting General Wheezen-Coffis. And General Wheezen-Coffis causes asthma. So if you're an asthma sufferer, you're either a wheezer or a cougher, right? Right. So even the names of the characters, it's not like I just yanked it out of the sky. Yeah. It was research that was done on each disease or condition, and then the names were derived from those medical facts. Everything's based on scientific, historic, and medical facts.
So right now the website is up. So how can people at the table and those around them interact with the website in terms of supporting your business?
Well, number one, spread the word. Spread the word, because what's happening right now from the classroom perspective, we're trying to get corporations to sponsor kids, right? Like say if Clorox wanted to sponsor all the kids in the Western United States, then they could either say, hey, Steve, we want this to go to 4,000 schools, and then they pay for it, and then I contact the schools, and then they can download it, and then I can do a virtual classroom with those schools. So
it's all digital comic books.
Everything is digital, except that when I'm designing action figures, those will all be merchandise. Posters will be that merchandise. But the reading materials is digital, because I want the kids to be able to have it on their laptop, desktop, tablet, or phone, right? And then also we got the digital content coming from the research scientists and doctors. Right. So you don't get that in a printed format.
But the digital format, is it going to read like a digital book?
Yeah, it's a PDF file and you just swipe the page.
Yeah.
right?
And you're reading the story, much like any other comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And it's
right,
gonna be some pow and kapoom.
all that's in there too.
Okay. All right.
Right. Right.
Okay.
You know what? You know what it actually is like, you guys. Remember MacGyver? MacGyver was never on public television, but you learned something.
Wasn't he on public television? I mean, it was public. I watched it on TV, right?
You didn't see him on he wasn't on the Sesame Street station.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
Right.
No, right.
Yeah,
He was on one of the major networks, but not the educational network.
I'm sorry, educational network. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I thought you were meaning public versus regular TV versus cable or that stuff. Okay.
But in the case of, like, but then that's the comic book and the classroom environment. But then, like, in the video game, the guys that worked on that's actually a brother worked on it. I don't know if you guys are gamers, but the Halo series. Okay. This brother found out about what I was working with, and he said, "Hey, man, I want to work with you." And so they automatically bring instant credibility to the video game development. So what's going to happen in the video game is it's going to be a VR environment, virtual reality. Mm-hmm. And like in the case here, we're talking with doctors now where I'm getting information on medical procedures like brain tumors and removing a brain tumor or heart transplant. And then we're actually going to replicate that process. So as you're doing it in the VR environment, then the monster may jump up behind you and try to pull your hands away so that you kill the patient by not connecting the nerves correctly, which adds to the excitement. But
that's so dope. When is, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were gonna say but.
So therefore the applications there would be just like how the Army teaches pilots. They use video game consoles to teach them. Then we're going to be replicating it on the platform of robotic surgery. So that if a child decides to be a surgeon, then the muscle memory will be what they learn how to do this game on. And then it's also in the hope that maybe some medical schools want to adapt it just to, because there's never going to be a time when you're doing a surgery that we're trying to really be accurate with the surgery or that type of surgery. And then a monster is going to jump on you. So you never have to worry about, in real case, a monster jumping on you. So you're going to be cool. You're going to be cool going through.
So let me ask you, when is the virtual reality platform?
That's like doing a movie. That is not going to come out to like 2023. But I'll tell you, speaking about this gaming, and Suli, thank you to Z, because that brother there, when I just asked him to give me his impression of video games, but that brother came back with such an eloquent presentation that
I believe it.
Hey, let me tell you, he's no joke. And so, to me, it said, hey, we wanted to step the game up, because if I can blow his socks off playing, then I know that something special is happening. And the gift about that is that, with that type of talent, you don't have to wait till someone's a grown-up adult to offer them a job as a consultant, because we're designing it for gamers, right? And so, hey, you employ, hey, can we hire you to do this or do that? Yeah. So down the road, Suli, Hey,
I got a son too, man.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, these gamers, like, these are the ones.
I mean, I ain't hating on Z. No, Z is the man. But hello, we got it too. Don't forget about that.
I just said it because I was just answering the question. You putting all this sauce on it. I'm just trying to answer the question.
Right. Let's keep
anyway.
Okay, so Elaine says this is a perfect time. Are you submitting proposals to the companies you think are best suited to support your program?
Well, it's interesting because like yesterday, like this past couple of weeks, but the contract was finalized. We were going to be working with Boys and Girls Club of King County in Seattle, Washington. That's like 35 locations, and then they service 26,000 kids. So
working with them to do the
powers of elementals. So I'm developing a classroom plan for teaching the periodic table with the powers of elementals.
Awesome.
Right. And but it's interesting because they have corporate sponsors that, give them the monies to do different things. And so that's one way to do it. And then it's also been a situation where I've just been approached by companies because of this present climate. Companies are looking to do work with Black-owned businesses.
Right.
And then they're also looking for creative content to, for communities of color, because they're just trying to do the right thing now.
And also because we're moving into this strong model of virtual learning, right? So to bring in some virtual learning opportunities.
Right, that's correct.
Sully says, what's the feedback of the kids you've shared it with so far?
Oh, they love it. And I'll tell you, it as a matter of fact, like when we were developing the hemoglobin for sickle cell, when I actually went to Children's Hospital here in the Bay Area, they were saying, well, Steve, they look too menacing. And I said, well, have you seen the Avengers? I mean, like, it's kind of like you got these professional people who are trying to think like children, but they're way off base.
Right.
And so, so I didn't want to argue because I didn't want to come across as an angry black man. But, but when I went back to the young man who his family shared the story with me, he was the first child admitted to the bone marrow transplant at Children's Hospital. Okay. And he told me, he said, Mr. Steve, that's what it felt like was inside of me.
Right. So
yeah, right. I mean, so it's like
cancer is menacing. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand all the diseases that we're creating here, they're real and they're trying to kill you. So it's not like when you were a kid growing up and you saw a raccoon look all cute like a squirrel. Then when I saw a real raccoon, I went, damn, I went, what? I saw
that's not what it's supposed to look like. It is not Pepe Le Pew.
None of that.
Okay, let's see. Elaine says, I'm sure you have protected your brand. When you submit it to companies, be sure to include your picture so they know you are Black.
Right. Well, actually, yeah. Then I don't
know about that, though, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes yes, but sometimes no. Sometimes it's not to know.
Yeah. That I don't have my picture up on the website.
I wouldn't either. Sometimes I know. Oh, hold on, my phone, my laptop's gonna die. Keep talking. Sorry. Sorry. I usually plug it in when I'm doing these talks, but I forgot this morning. I'm looking at this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm torn with that. Because
it's a little complex too because you have a lot of Black people that are in organizations that don't want Black people to get business.
That's a shame. So we have a time where people want to do business with Black-owned businesses. So that's great. Let folks know you're Black. It's a Black-owned business. But at the same time, and we can have that conversation another day. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna table that conversation for another day. But I'm gonna only say this because we can explore this thought more. But at the same time, you really want your product out there to everybody, and sometimes folks just look at you and say, no, okay, I'm going to go on with this business. And I know that's wrong. However.
But you know what? You're right, Kai. But the attitude that I'm taking is this. Ignorance and intelligence are the same. And they love whoever lets them in the house. Now I said, now you may not like me because of who I am. But what I'm teaching your kids can create opportunity for them. So you can stay ignorant and while you're being ignorant, that same student next to your son or daughter is learning it.
Yeah, but see, I get you. And we're going to have this conversation another day because the other part about that is sometimes you're not going to open the door because you don't know which is ignorance or intelligence that you're letting in. So you're my misconception is that always represents ignorance, so I'm not opening that door. I'd rather let you open the door, buy my product, and then when I show up with it, bam, that's right. You didn't even know you were supporting the Black-owned business, but you are.
You're right. So that's why, you don't know what I am. Unless you look at the bottom of the page, you'll see a flag. That's the red, white, the red, green, and black. That's all. That's the only way. But the thing is that the beautiful thing is that it's getting acceptance around the world. Like in Chennai, India, it's getting some love. Sussex, England, I'm getting some love. It's. And that was because, and in London, which is right near Sussex, but that was because of this professor at us in Cincinnati who showed love for it and started sharing it with her colleagues. And so she had some in Australia. And so, hey, the U.S. may have a certain attitude, but people want to embrace it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it says one thing that I got from your website was that it could be both for adults and kids, like those cartoons that span all ages, like Lion King or Maleficent, etc. Suli says, especially those of us who don't have a science background in education. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Suli. Talk about 100 paragraphs to one question. I think that's a joke. Uh, Elaine says, should you require funding for your platform, you can submit proposals to arts and humanities who have money to support art, which this is. To be clear, in many cases, they are doing the right thing because it is in their financial best interest. So be sure to protect your brand.
Right. Well, Elaine,
and if you want information about submitting to arts and humanities, you should reach out to my mom because, I'm putting you out there. You come to the table, you always gonna be put out there. If you got something I think you can offer somebody else at this table, I'm always gonna throw your name out there. So oh well. But because she's worked on a couple of boards, she helps to review some of those proposals. So it's not a conflict of interest. She's not going to be reviewing your proposal, but she could maybe be a sounding board for you to be able to get some information about submitting to different arts and humanities organizations to get funding.
Yeah, we've been lucky. I received a couple of grants already, and that was helpful. But then it's all, and so Elaine, I'm going to reach out for you just to pick your brain as what the strategies are. But I've also been fortunate now that because a lot of doctors are getting involved, and this platform allows them to share their accomplishments and research with the general public.
Oh, very good.
They're also identifying, like this one guy I spoke to, he was the head of oncology at this one hospital, and he said he just knew people because he knew. Here's what he said. It was interesting. He said, "I know wealthy, nice people."
You have to make the distinction sometimes.
Yeah, right. He said, and he saved the life of this one woman's husband, and then so she's forever grateful. So,
well, you know what? The thing about it is, what I want to say about that, and you and I were talking about this before we came live, sort of, it connects. When you're doing the right thing, always there are going to be things like this that pop up as an opportunity for you and it's a sign that you are doing the right thing, that you are following what you should be following. This is a passion of yours now. And this is only just reaffirmation over and over and over again. All of the accolades that you get, all of the people who are coming on board and wanting to support and share their story with you, all of that is just further proof that this is what you are supposed to be doing. So that's really fantastic to hear.
Well, the thing is that this has been like a 13-year journey so far.
Okay. Well,
but this is all I've done.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of times. Here's what I can say: I wouldn't wish the journey on anybody, but I wish you could feel the euphoria that I feel for staying true to the path. I mean, It's definitely been a walk in faith.
Right.
And I'm not the kind of person that cracks open a Bible and tells you what verse, but I've lived it, and I can tell you that there's no need to be afraid.
Right.
If you have it, if it's been placed in your heart to do something,
right,
I'm telling you guys, things are going to happen in an almost supernatural way that are going to open up doors and provide you with what you need along the path. I am so serious. I don't want to sound spooky or anything like that, but I am so serious. If it's placed in your heart, just do it.
Right.
And trust. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to be an entrepreneur, because I'm truly grateful for those that have been in corporate positions that have opened doors for me. Exactly. However, I feel it is my responsibility that when this is going the way I want it and the way I see it, that I'm going to go to those people and offer them a job where they truly will have job security and not just thinking that they have job security.
Right. Right. It still speaks to what we were talking about. So I was talking with Steve earlier before we started, as we were preparing to come online with you guys and come on in conversation with you. Suli posted a link on her page, or a list on her page of all these different things that we've talked about at the table. And I forget what that post was talking about, but anyway, it was just for me further validation that I'm doing the right thing. And it's so interesting how these things get put in front of us sometimes when we're in the throes of some sort of doubt, right? Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm a confident person. I'm at this table every single day. And that does not mean that there will not be days that I'm like, what the hell are you doing? That doesn't mean that. But I'm showing up every day. I feel good about this. I feel good about the table. So don't ever worry about that. That's happening. But every time I come across something that it tends to come at the right time, right? It tends to come at the right time where you're questioning something, you're wondering if this is what you're supposed to be doing, and then bam, Suli finds some money and she's practicing her abundance. And then bam, Suli posts this thing and then it's shared by somebody else at the table too. And so I'm reminded twice, Kai, you're doing the right thing. We've talked about all these things. Damn, girl, you profound. Because you didn't even look up all this stuff to talk about it like this. And then this morning I woke up and again, I read someone else's post that was talking about the 5 different notes. I know Steve is 12, but the 5 different notes. They didn't talk about the 5 notes. I know. They didn't talk about the 5 notes. They were talking about how we are all unique in our experiences and what we bring to the table. And it just reiterated what we talked about at the table yesterday. So in your life, in your passion, in your path towards your passion, working your passion, there's always times along the way, I'm sure, in the past 13 years, when you're ready to stop, if there was ever a point when you were ready to stop, there had to be something that along the way kept saying, no, you're still on the right path. Can you remember any of those significant things?
Oh, I can remember a lot of them. And a lot of them brought a lot of pain.
Yeah.
One thing that I do is when I showed you the butterflies, I also use the butterfly collection as a journal.
Okay.
So I can tell you what was going on in my life for every butterfly that's on that collection.
Right? Oh, wow.
And some of the most beautiful butterflies I have were doing some really difficult times, like you go through divorce, and I've always been a big proponent of private education. Mm-hmm. And there were some times when I had 2 girls in private high school, near USU, in Napa, and in Napa. And that was no joke. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how I was going to pay that tuition sometimes. And so, right. Having to just humble yourself to go and just, as a father, beg that your children go through. Now, also understand my daughters are doing very well in the school. So from a marketing standpoint, they love those Black kids in there. I only had 3 and 2 of them were mine, so.
Right.
So that helped too. But during that time, I was reading this book called The Science of Getting Rich. And it's not really what it sounds like. It was really a faith kind of believing that things will be for the good, will happen for you. And it was things like that. I mean, like there were times I didn't know how I was going to eat.
Right.
But, and I was ready just to quit. And then something would step in and it was just like in the 11th hour. So now when I started dealing with situations like that, or like, certain bills had to be paid at a certain time, I just said, okay, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And sure enough, 11:55:59, boom, it came.
You file your taxes.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like,
right.
It just came. So now I find myself moving along the way where I never have fear of lack anymore.
Right.
Because it's been shown to me that it's going to be good. It's everything's going to be good. Just keep going. And then now, I see now where the revenues are coming in, where I could make a living and things like that. But during those 13 years,
right.
It was crazy because, somebody say, hey, let's go out sometime. Well, brother, you got to say, well, hey, I want to, but right. I can't. They said, what do you mean you can't? So they think you off one of these kind of cats that are just trying to play women. No, I can't.
Right. I don't want to explain to you.
Right.
I don't want to win.
But I look at it, as opposed to looking at it as, wow, it's going to be this kind of thing. I use that time to just create, write stories, create characters,
Right.
I said, it's not who I am that day, it's who I'll be the next day.
That's right. Looking towards what you plan to be, what you plan to do. I mean, Lane says it takes both the artist and the art collector to succeed in this world. Stay open and see the grace that comes to you. Sully said, that's right, synchro destiny. I think I'm going to steal that word, synchro destiny. I like that. You said synchronicities one time before, but I'm liking synchro destiny today. Sully says, I love that. Each butterfly to match an experience. Great pickup line too, Steve.
Hey, but here's the thing.
Let me show you my butterfly collection.
Hey, I learned that lesson. But let me tell you something though. When I lay them out, like sometimes I just want to just look at them, right? And
right.
Then I say, no matter what you go through, my life is beautiful. I have a beautiful life,
right. Right.
And it continues. I mean, I still got like 30 more drawers I want to do, as far as collection. And so I'm curious to see what that life song, what that life picture, what that life song is going to sound like and look like.
It says, Elaine says, absolute faith, walking the walk as opposed to only talking the talk. Right. Sulie says, the way my bank account is set up. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm telling you guys, if you have a belief and you have a dream, I'm telling you, the only people that are going to tell you not to do it are those that are too afraid to do it.
I hear you.
You got people that will say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they're the first ones to want to buy your jersey when it's good.
That's right. But you know what? Yes, sometimes y'all, I got a yes and no, right? Yes and no. Because my kids need to eat. No matter what passion mommy has, my kids need to eat. And that passion is not about to put food on the table until that business is growing. So I am actually someone that says, yes, I'm going to work my passion. Look, remember I showed this to you guys before? Don't quit your daydream. Yes, do your passion. Keep daydreaming, keep doing your passion. But for me, I got to have a real job that's going to pay the bills until the passion job takes over the bills. Because at the end of the day, I got an issue with being hungry. I have an issue with my kids being hungry. I have an issue with being hungry. So no, we need to eat and we need a place to stay.
I understand.
But I don't say don't definitely follow your passion, but that just may mean you working 2 jobs. Work it. If you really want to do it.
I understand that, Kai. I do. But all I can do is really kind of share like what forced my decisions, right?
Right.
Because with what I was doing, no doctor is going to see me after hours.
That's correct.
So and they played a major role in the development of my product. So I had to keep myself flexible enough to talk with doctors during the day, right? And another thing I found out is that first I tried to do this on the side, but it looked like the effort was on the side.
Yes.
Right? And so, like when you have to write stories or design characters, when you wake up in the morning and go to the job, that job gets your energy, right?
Yes.
By the time you finish those 8-hour days and you finish that 2-hour commute and then you eat and then you work, it looks like that's when you started working on that second bit of effort. So my dream was to be bigger than Marvel. So I said, I'm not bigger than Marvel today, but my work is going to look like I'm Marvel today. And so it was that drive that just kept me going. You know what I mean?
I hear you, Steve, and
so therefore, I'm not saying that what you're choosing is different. It's just that, I just chose different because, Kai, I figured this: somebody has to jump to create a company. Like suppose you work for company A, right? And they have their policy,
right?
And then I work for the same company you do. And then, we have these dreams of saying, I want to start a company where I can employ people that will encourage this or encourage that. Well, if they don't like Black people in general in this country, then what company on the average is going to say, I'm going to do something for Black people, right? They're not, until now where something happens cataclysmic where they're forced to. But my rationale was, let me jump out and do this. I don't care how many times I get banged against the rocks. I'm going to get this thing done. So therefore, when it gets done, long after I'm gone, it'll still be doing what I visualized it would do. Employ people, give women and men, of color, an excellent opportunity to be who they really are.
Right.
That's just part of what it
is. The thing is, I think a couple of people, Elaine is mentioning here, she says she different strokes for different folks. Exactly. I'm with you, Steve. I work the same way. And that's the thing. I think that where we get into trouble is where we want to assume that everybody works the same way. What works for you, what works and worked for you would not work for me, may not work for Sulie or Bina or anybody else at the table, Bernadette. It may not work for them. What may work for me and what I'm doing is to do both, to do my cupcake business and to do my my regular stuff and to do my tea time. I mean, look, I'm making it all work, right? But if I had to give up one and only do the other, I would not be comfortable giving up what pays the bills and allows me the opportunity to do the rest of the stuff in order to focus on that. I would not be comfortable, which means I wouldn't do it well. Versus you, who you know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull away. I need to dedicate myself to this full time. So that's what I'm going to do. And you're able to do it well. But if you can't pull yourself away from the regular paycheck and do your passion well, there's no point in pulling yourself away and doing your passion. You have to figure out what works for you. And I have to figure out what works, all of us, right? We have to figure out what works for us. And that's just like when I wanted to go to law school. I'm kind of with you. Like it would not have worked for me to go to law school because I couldn't quit everything and go to law school. When I say I couldn't, I know we don't like that word can't and couldn't at the table, but when I say I couldn't, what I'm saying is I could not see a path that simultaneously had me in law school and my children fed and supported and provided for. Mm-hmm. And that's what the problem was. When I'm not having this kind of support from that other part that contributed to the creation of them, and it all lies on me, then I have to make some of the sacrifices. And I'm glad that you didn't. I'm glad that you were able to figure out a way to dedicate yourself, even though it took 13 years to dedicate yourself, sacrifice. A lot of people aren't willing to make the sacrifice. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just speaking in general. A lot of people are not willing to make that sacrifice. How many people are willing to say, no, I'm not going out because I'm focusing on my craft and I know that everything I have needs to go towards my craft and towards my future goals and towards my kids. And if I take money to take you to dinner or to go out or to splurge with you, I don't have it to give in these other areas where I need it to be, right? To build for my legacy, right? Julie said, it looks like the effort was on the side. Oh, that hit me different. Truth. We can work on it part-time on the dream, but have full-time passion on the dream. Yeah. I think that sometimes it can depend on what you do. Some people have 2 full-time jobs. I've known people who have 2 full-time jobs.
That's just it though, Kai. In a situation like that, when I hear people tell those stories, I never forget those stories because I want to be able to come back to those people and say, I can offer you a job, because in talking with them, I know what they do. Now, I'm going to share something with you guys. And that was this. Okay. I have 2 girls. So, I know, man, little girls will teach you a lot of stuff about people. I mean, women are, they don't play.
We don't really. They don't.
Whatever. Anyway, so one thing that I thought of is if I created a company that was run 96% by women, it's going to blow everybody else away. Right. I'll tell you why. What I've seen is that women pay higher attention to detail, right? And a lot of times, just like people of color, they've been passed over for jobs and things like that, right? So you treat them fair and give them equal pay, benefits, the whole bit, then you have something special. And if you look at nature, who does the hunting? The male lion gets the credit, but the women lion are the ones that are doing the killing. And so therefore, there's a magic there. Now trust. I know some men that are great at what they do, and hey, I'm including them too if I can get them on board, right? But I know that the engine that will drive it will be the girls. Case in point, from a young age, when I told you about the pilot program I was doing a couple of years back, I had this one case where I had 4 groups of kids, and they were broken up into 5 each, 4 groups of 5. Mm-hmm. And I just went, picked them and just when I saw the girls, and I just made sure a girl was on each team. Right. 3 minutes in, and their exercise was to tell me what elements are used to fight sickle cell in healthcare, right? So they broke off and they jumped on the computers and they were out there running. And I said, everybody's going to have to come back with an answer because I'm looking for the one who's hiding. There's always that student that's trying to hide and not get called on. Right. I'm looking for you. So therefore, it was imperative that the team work together to make sure everybody knew the answer. 5 minutes into the exercise, and they had 20 minutes to complete it, I saw all the girls in it by themselves. I said, what are you guys doing? They said, the boys don't think that we're going to do a good job. I said, okay. I want you guys to be a team. You know what the assignment is. Go ahead and do it. I'm sorry. The question was, if elements exist on Earth, do they exist on other planets?
Okay.
And so kids came back with the answer. And the boys would say, well, Jupiter is made up of hydrogen and helium, right? Then this girl named Sunny got up and said, yes, but it's 86% helium and sit in whatever the remaining amount hydrogen, right? And I said, see, boy, she's right. And this is the lesson that you learn, is that you thought that they wouldn't know. And they came back in less time with a more succinct answer. So what does that tell you? If you don't respect the women, whatever you do is going to fail. Right. And so, they're professional women in my family. I've seen economists, and I've seen, legal and all that whole bit in my family. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Hey, you gotta value what they bring to the table. And so I don't know where I got off on a squirrel, but I
don't know. That was like 4 squirrels. I'm not even sure where we started.
Hey, I'm just saying, whatever.
So apparently at some point you said girls when you should have said women, because the elder at the table was like, look, dude, it's women, not girls, unless you are hiring boys, not men. But I want to have your back here, because he did say women a bunch of other times. So there may have just been one time where you said girls where you should have said women, but we aren't going to beat you up for it, because you said women enough that we know you understand that when it's a grown person, it's a woman, not a girl. So we're going to let you have that. Suli says, got to go pick up pumpkin starters. I'll pick up where I left off later. Thank you, Steve. Intending all your success and more. Thank you, Suli, for joining us. We are going to be saying our goodbyes in just a second, unless anybody has last thoughts. So you're not going to be missing much, because we're at our time. I don't like to go over an hour and a half, and we're at about an hour and 20 minutes. So we just have a few more minutes. So, Steve, I want to make sure that we remind people of how they can support you now. So let's just say that.
Well, if you can just, spread the website, http://www.1906edutainment.com, and just, share it with as many people as you can.
So what you guys can do today, we have his website on my page. You guys can go to that website link and you can share that to your personal page, or you can share this conversation to your personal page and put a little excerpt of why you're sharing it. Don't just share, put why you're sharing this, and encourage your followers, your circle, to support this brother who is at the table doing big things, helping to educate our children and adults, helping to educate us. Look, I'm ready to understand some stuff. I'm ready to get that comic series so that I can understand, and so that I can help my son understand. And I like the fact that in your comic series specifically, I know that's what we talked about mostly, but I like the fact that you are taking real things, using real-ish words, just from some of the things that you said. You kind of play with the scientific word, but it's played enough, like what are the things called in the mastecta?
Like the names of the diseases. One thing I want to just add quickly to that is, when I was developing the diseases, I thought that I was going to make Asperger's and autism a monster.
Okay.
But then when I actually interviewed families, I really found out that these kids were gifted. And they were gifted, right? And so I saw this as an opportunity to change the social perception of people with Asperger's and autism. And so I created a character called the Asperati. And they're like the Silver Surfer was to the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
The Asperati there are 3 of them, and they help the Guardians of the Cure in different stories fight different diseases. But it's really there to change awesome. Instead of change the perception of it. So like when we were doing the focus groups, kids were coming out saying, I want autism, I want to be autistic. So it means that, it was working. It was working. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Because there are some brilliant minds that are Asperger's or autism, on the Asperger's autism spectrum. Right. Brilliant minds. The issue is us, it's not them. The issue is us learning how to communicate differently, how to tap into who they are. And the onus is on us. Trust me, I deal with it every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. You understand me? Every day. Yeah. So the onus is on us to figure out how we touch. And the problem is, we talked about this when Ellen yesterday was saying something about how people don't want to people deal with the other people's issues. It's easy to just say, oh, there's something wrong with that child. It's not so easy to say, okay, there's nothing wrong with that child, but there's something wrong with how I'm engaging. And I think it's going to help your series changing the perception, changing how we talk about it and changing how we see it is really going to be excellent, specifically for that thing. I think I can't say that. I can't say excellent enough. Okay,
Thank
can't
you.
say it enough times.
Thank you, Kai. I know it hurts, but thank you.
I heard you, girl. I heard you. How many times you got to say it?
I said 3 nice things with Steve today.
I said excellent, excellent. I said excellent. Anyway, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. If anybody has any last minute questions, please get them in right away. If not, what you can do today is that you can share his page with your follower. You can subscribe to the website, right?
Yeah, well, you can just go to the website, but you can subscribe to the comic books. Whether you can buy an annual subscription or you can buy the books.
But they're not ready yet, are they?
Well, the comic books, people are pre-ordering the comic book series.
So you can pre-order. All right. Yeah. So you can pre-order the comic book. Come on, man. Well, I said, how can we support you now? And you said, well, you can spread the word. No, you can spread the word and pre-order. That's 2 things. Now, is there a third?
Okay, now that there's quiet, yeah. And so, so you can pre-order the comic book, or you can order right now. The book, The Powers of Elementus, is available for download. You can order, just buy that right out now.
So The Powers of Elementus is a book that an electronic book. We can download that now.
Right.
But that's not a comic book.
That's not a comic book. That is for classroom use.
Okay.
That is to teach you the periodic table.
Right? All right. Okay. So if you want to get your kids learning the periodic table, you can order The Powers of Elementus. Does it come with any type of instructional information?
It doesn't, but I make myself available that if any family has questions, we can make an appointment and I can actually just walk them through it.
Okay, perfect. So we have 3 ways. Shut up, Stace. I hear you. I see you. I don't hear you. I see you. You know, ain't no quiet at my table. Stace says, LOL, now that there is quiet. Anyway, y'all always got to have each other's back. That's okay. It's more women at this table. Anyway, 3 ways that you can support Steve Dorsey with 1906 Edutainment. 1, spread the word. And I'm going to need you to do hopefully at least 2 of these. I would like for you to support him in at least 2 of these ways, but there are 3. The one that's easy for you to do, doesn't cost any money out of your pocket. Share the link, share this conversation, encourage your people to figure out who he is, find out who he is now. Don't jump on board when he's all big time Marvel-like. Do it now. Support him to get there. 2, you can download, you can buy the Powers of Elementus. The Powers of Elementus, you can buy that now, or you can pre-order the comic series. So there's 3 different ways that you can support him right now. So let's show Steve some love from this table. That's what we do at this table. We bring everybody to this table to support each other in more ways than one. This is one of the ways that we support each other. And don't just talk about it, be about it.
Right. One thing I want to share though before we go is that there are like 6 other character groups. So there's the Q that you're going to learn about the great queens of Africa in the classroom content, but then we're also going to make the Q a superhero series where the women actually have the power of Amanatu, Hatshepsut, Dinknesh, Queen Candace of Ethiopia. So you're going to learn about those. Same thing goes with the Oba, which means ruler. So you're going to learn about the great kings of Africa. And actually, as a subject matter expert, we have a brother out of Howard University and a gentleman, my good friend Ahmed from Kemet, Egypt. And he has been doing tours of the pyramids for like 30 years. Nice. So they are my subject matter experts to make sure that we get this new information that you're just not getting in classrooms about these great African leaders, right? And then the E5 are going to go into climate change. You're going to learn about climate change, earth sciences, that kind of thing like that. So it's out there. And then also Dr. History is going to teach you about European history and American history from the truth.
So explore the website, come back with any additional questions that you may have once you go on and figure out how you're going to support him. If you have a question about something that you're seeing on the website before you click purchase or whatever, if you have a question about it so he can help guide you towards where you actually want to be right now today, then reach out. You have Steve's information. Steve is on. You can go to the website, contact him through the website. You can reach out to him through Facebook. If you're not connected to him personally on Facebook, you can reach out to him through our page. You can leave a message for him through the page because we're all in the group together. So show your support, show your love. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming to this side of the table.
I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you today on this side of the table. I appreciate you every day on the other side of the table. I really appreciate all of the love that you continue to show Tea Time with Kai. And it's really special to me that you're here today to share with us what you're doing. And I'm going to go on myself. I've been on it a couple of times, and I want to tell you I've been confused because nothing to do with your table, nothing to do with your site, just, science is not my background. So so I'm going to go into it when my son finally wakes up. We're going to go into it again, and I'm going to see what we can do. And we're going to share, well, I'm sharing this now, and we will be getting Elementals. I think you're right. It's especially with all this virtual learning and all this at-home time, that would be perfect for us to start just right now. He can start learning about the periodic table, and that would be beneficial for him. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, and Stace says he lost all his comic books during a move, so you're about to be my link back. There we go. That's right.
Man, I lost my comic books during the move too, but that hurt.
There we go. There we go. Well, thank you so much, guys, for showing up today and showing out just like you always do. Please share this talk and help to support Steve Dorsey with 1906 Edutainment. And I will see you here tomorrow, the same time for folks that don't know, 9 o'clock East, 9 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. I will see you here. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to wear your cubrebocas, to wear your mask, wash your hands, lava las manos, and stay 6 feet apart. I don't really know how to say that, so stay 6 feet apart. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day. See you later, Steve.